So welcome back to my grade advancers, and this is a GCSE past paper for the higher tier, and we'll be looking at some of the skills you need to master for your GCSE. Now, look at the first question, and then we have in this question to work out -4 multiplied by -7/9. Now, the first thing I say here is if you are not very careful, you may not pay attention to the fact that there is a negative sign in front of the 7/9. So, in exams, you don't want to rush solving problems. You want to be sure you know what you want to solve. So the first thing is to identify, okay, this is a negative number multiplying another negative number. If a negative number is multiplying another negative number, the result will always be a positive number. So you think this cannot be your answer because the results are negative. Why? Again, because when a negative number multiplies another negative number, you get positive. So we are left with two choices. Now, again, this -4 is standing alone. I can write that as -4/1 multiplied by -7/9. So how do I do the multiplication? It's numerator to the numerator. So 4 already we have settled the negatives. That will turn to positive. So we're left with 4 multiplied by 7. That will be 28. And 1 multiplied by 9, that will be 9. So this is not also right, and this is the correct answer. Now let's move to the second question. We have square root of 6 raised to the power of 4. Now, a good way to solve this is you can rewrite this as 6 raised to the power of 2, and then, well, you can open another bracket that way and put the second 2. This is a power law that says we can rewrite the power law, the power of 4 as 2 times 2, which gives us 4. Now, the first square, we remove the square root from 6, okay, because this is going to be the same thing as saying square root of 6 multiplied by square root of 6, right? And square root of 6 multiplied by square root of 6 will be square root of 36. Square root of 36 will be 6, all right? So the square here has removed the square root. So we are left with 6 and the square outside. So that is 6 raised to the power of 2, which is the same thing as 6 times 6. So, and that gives us 36. Now to the third question. The third question is quite interesting because you have a fraction and decimal, and you are asked to find the value of x. So how do you do that? Now, for me, I think the easiest thing to do is to change this fraction to a decimal. If you do that, you would have a 0.203 equals 1/5 as a fraction is the same thing as 0.2 and plus x, right? Now, the next thing is to subtract 0.2 from both sides. And if I want to subtract 0.2 from this side, I'll take the decimal point here and put it here. And then I can put my 2 under 2 and then 0. This is a very easy way to subtract decimals. You have to arrange the whole numbers to the whole number and then the decimal part to the decimal part, all right? So if you like, you could also write the remaining part as 0. Why? Because 0 after a decimal point is immaterial. So now we start to do our subtraction. 3 take away 0 will be 3. 0 take away 0 is 0. 2 take away 2 is 0. And then the decimal point, and then we have 0 again. So now we have our answer as 0.03. Now, the good way to write this is in fraction, because all our answers are in fractions. So now I have 3 numbers after the decimal point. It means I can divide that number by 1000. Okay, so when we divide that by 1000, that shows this is our answer. Good. Now let's move to the next question, where we are asked to circle the correct statement. Of course, when you look at this, you just have to solve them easily. 3x says is equivalent to x plus 2x, and if you check that, 3x equivalent to x plus 2x will also give us 3x. Now, when you check this, 3x cannot be equivalent, or we are not so certain that 3x will be equivalent to 2. Why? Because we do not know the value of x. And over here, when you had 3x plus x, that will give you 4x. And there is no way to subtract a number from a variable. We do not know the value of x, so it's not possible for us to do the subtraction. And when you look at this final one, 3x plus x will also be 4x, and take away 2. There is no way we can also check if this will be equivalent to 0. So the only one that meets all of those is this. So this is the correct statement. Now to the next question, it says divide 62 in the ratio 3 to 7. Now, when you have ratio questions, it's always easy to solve ratio question when you know one part. You know, ratio compares the how many part of one thing you have to the other thing, right? So this is like saying for every 3 of a particular thing, the other gets 7. Okay, so if you know one part, it becomes very easy. And how do you calculate one part? You find the sum of the ratio, and the sum of the ratio would be 3 plus 7, and that will give you 10. And then you can get one part of that. One part of that would be equals 62 divided by 10. And one part will give you 6.2. So 3 parts of that would be 6.2 times 3, right? And that, of course, will give us 18.6. And then we find 7 parts, and 7 parts will be 6.2 multiplied by 7. And that should give us 43.4, okay? 43.4. You just have to do your multiplication easily, and then you can get your answers.